Hi everybody, Andy Kravlicher here, and this is the first Q&A for this YouTube channel. I'd like to start by thanking each and every one of you who was kind enough to ask me and send in some questions. The lines are still open at askandyKravlicher@gmail.com and on all the social media I've listed in the description below. But so far we've gotten way more questions than expected, over 60 in total. You know, running a YouTube channel sometimes can be like learning how to box with your hands tied behind your back. You get hit, you figure out, well, if I only did this, I wouldn't get hit. And that's when you get hit again. So it's really nice and really comforting that you guys actually did ask me some questions and that this panned out just as well or even better than I was expecting or hoping it to. So we'll get right down to it. Question 1. Doug wants to know, you got Facebook? No. Next question. Face of Roadkill wants to ask, where can I get some of your music? That's a very interesting name, Face of Roadkill. Pretty much anywhere where you do get music. Spotify, Amazon, CD and Zane. There's even a YouTube playlist of songs featuring me and some music videos as well, which I'll feature in the corner up here. But usually wherever you want to get the music is fine with me, and I am hugely appreciative of the fact that you do actually want to get the music legally. I'd rather be heard than paid. If you do want to rip it and download it, that's usually fine by me, but it's a huge gesture of support that you want to buy it regularly. So just go to wherever you would buy music normally, and you should find Aeon Zen, Nairgard, Thaurod, and even the latest Silent Call there as well. Milan asks, do you use the Marshall JCM 900 and Marshall 1960A cabinet in recording your songs? This is what Milan is referring to, my JCM 900 4100 100-watt head and 1960A cabinet. And the answer is no, Milan, no I don't. I live in an apartment, about a 900 square foot apartment in Stockholm, and it would be financially prohibitively expensive to be evicted several times a year for noise complaints and have to find somewhere else to live. Housing in Stockholm is kind of hard to come by. So no, sadly not by choice, I don't use them. What I use now is my Pod XT and Overloud TH3. And I have been thinking of upgrading to something like an atomic amplifier or a Line 6 Helix in the near future, so stay tuned for that. Now to a question which 2 users have asked. The Havoc X asks, what's your opinion on the new Jackson DK2 Pro series? And Emilani asks, I'm ready to buy new equipment and I'd like to have your opinion on the Jackson DK2. Moreover, there's the Ibanez Prestige RG6 series. Any advice is welcome. Well, first things first, the Pro Series, which you can buy today, isn't the same Pro Series that my Jackson DK2 is a part of. I have a 2002 made in Japan Pro Series Dinky. The new Pro Series Dinkies are a different configuration and they're very much not the same guitar. Mine has a humbucker, a single configuration, and the new ones have a dual humbucker configuration to start with. Truss rod adjustment is a little bit different. The pickups are different. Even the neck joint these days on the DK2s is different. What I do have is a Pro Series SL7 Soloist, and you can see an unboxing and review video of that in this corner right here to find out some of my impressions. But generally speaking, I would say there's very little difference in quality. This is a very good, very capable guitar, and if you do want to go the dinky route, the Pro Series DK2 is probably not going to let you down. But as always with guitars, I would suggest that you test one and try one out in a brick and mortar store and see what you like about the feel, about the sound, about the neck. Jackson necks are not for everybody. They're for almost everybody, but if you're used to something like a Gibson SG, it'll feel pretty unfamiliar. The RG6 series I have very little experience with. I know that Daniel from Silent Call used to play an Ibanez RG Prestige model and really liked it. That's all I can tell you. Now to the question that I got more than any other question. It's advice on a beginner guitar. Jimmy wants to know, I'm turning 12 and I want to start learning guitar. What's a guitar that's good for starter, but cheap and good for shredding? Hadlier wants to know, hey, I'm planning to start learning guitar soon. Just wondering what guitar would you recommend for a beginner? And Retiyu wants to know, I want to get a guitar and start playing. Do you think an Ibanez Geo guitar set is good? So first things first, when I started out in 1997, pretty much the only way to get a decent guitar for starter money was to go used. You had to buy a used guitar because the new guitars in that price range were very poorly made. They were usually, made in India knockoffs of American guitars, and they would have sharp frets, they would have inferior gear, they would have potentiometers on the volume, which would just give up after the first couple of plays, wobbly tremolo handles, all kinds of really big quality issues. But what I've found lately is that just isn't the case anymore. Epiphone, Jackson, Ibanez, companies like that, everybody's making these great starter guitars because they figure once they've got you into their ecosystem, once they've got you hooked on the brand, you're going to stay loyal to that brand. And I think that's very, very cool because it means that everybody's putting out really great starter guitars. Now, for me, as a big Jackson fan, having a DK2 and an SL7, I would recommend the JS32 series. The JS32 series is basically Jackson's starter guitar, but with everything on. They'll have stuff like 24 jumbo frets. They'll have, volume and tone and a Floyd Rose. They'll have 5-way switches, not just 3-way switches. They'll have stuff like that. Even arch tops. You can get a JS32 with a flame maple or quilted maple top. Really great feature sets for a guitar in that range for only about $250 to $300 or the same in euros, which is really great value. But if Jackson isn't your brand, your flavor, you can get Epiphones, you can get Ibanez guitars, you can get a Squier that plays about the same and costs about the same. So my advice would be go to a brick and mortar store and just feel the quality of the neck. Feel that there are no sharp frets. Just see if you can fall in love with the guitar, because the important thing, the only way to get good is to practice. So you need to find a guitar that's going to entice you to practice. You're going to have to find a guitar that makes you want to play it. And for a guitar to make you want to play it, it has to look cool in your eyes. And not objectively cool, because there's no such thing. It has to look cool to you. So if you want to play chocolatey blues licks, a lime green Jackson with a weird pointed, V body isn't going to be what you're looking for. On the other hand, if you want to play insane death metal riffs, maybe a Fender Stratocaster isn't exactly what you're looking for in the look. So I know that looks should be secondary to function, but when it comes to making you enthusiastic, making you want to start a band, making you want to play music, the looks of a guitar really can't be overrated. So buy a guitar that looks cool, and buy a guitar that feels nice to play. And to do both of those, you actually have to look at a lot of guitars. So do go to brick and mortar stores and don't fall in love over the internet. It works very well for marriage for some people, but when choosing your first guitar, it's often very nice to actually try it out first. And please don't be intimidated. I've been to guitar stores many times, and when you see the young kids checking out the guitars, usually what'll happen is the store clerk will do some mad tapping riff, and then they'll go, here you go, kid, it's all yours. And the kid runs away, and the store doesn't sell the guitar because the kids get easily intimidated by that stuff. And if you're 12, Jimmy, if you're 12 and you're just starting out, I think that's really cool. Welcome to the world of guitar. Please do share what you play. Please do share how it turns out and what you ended up buying. That would be really excellent. Now, Aurea wants to know, Q&A, how many licks does it take to get to the center of a Tootsie Pop? Now, this fortunately is a question which I don't have to answer because the good people at Tootsie have referred to some very good studies on the subject. Now, it turns out there have been 3 academic studies on the subject, and the answer is somewhere between 144 and 411 licks, depending on some uncontrolled factors in the experiments. So there you go. Thanks a lot for all of your questions, guys. Please stay tuned for more Q&A clips, and remember, if you have any questions, do get in touch with me in the social media links you'll find in the description below or at askandykravica@gmail.com. I will happily accept and answer your questions all times of day, all days of the year. So thank you very much. Thanks for watching, and stay tuned for more clips next Monday.